What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a follow-along routine to fix anterior pelvic tilt, or at least to make it better. I got today my brother Yasir, thank you for being here, which he has anterior pelvic tilt. I don't, so I brought him in so you guys feel a little bit more relatable. My pelvis is actually pretty neutral, actually throwing to posterior pelvic tilt, but for all of you guys that has anterior pelvic tilt, this routine is going to serve you pretty well. He got anterior pelvic tilt, so let's go a little bit faster into what is anterior pelvic tilt and what causes it. So anterior pelvic tilt, if he goes into maximum anterior pelvic tilt, that is maximum anterior pelvic tilt. Now, what is your neutral position of your pelvis? If he relaxes, then you see he got that angle on his hips. Basically, his hips are tilted forward in this position. That's caused by a tightness on the hip flexor. The hip flexor is attached to the hip joint and it crosses all the way into the lumbar spine. So when this is tight, it basically pulls the hip forward and it tilts us more. The quad is also attached to the hip joint. So if you have tight quads and tight hip flexors, these two muscles pulling you in is gonna bring the pelvis forward. Now, when that happens, also your lumbar spine is tight, which is further bringing your pelvis even more forward. So this is tight and this is tight, causing that position. And now when you have a tightness on one area, you're always going to have weakness or looseness in other areas. In this case, it's going to be your core and your glutes and hamstrings. So if he has strengthened his core and he has strengthened the glutes, you're going to be able to be in that posterior pelvic tilt. Thank you. So basically what we're going to be doing is strengthening our core, strengthening our glutes and hamstrings, and stretching our hip flexors and our quads and our lumbar spine and our heel. So I'll see you in your mat. Alright guys, before we begin, I want to know if you guys got anterior pelvic tilt. Please leave it in the comment section down below if you got that position, or if you got posterior pelvic tilt and if you have done anything to fix it, and if it has served you well as after doing this routine, after a couple months or a couple weeks, if you want to come back and tell us if it works or if it doesn't, please leave it in the comment section down below. And also, before we begin, I want to make a huge disclaimer. This routine is a daily routine, meaning that you can do it on a daily basis because the muscles that are going to be working, especially your abs, they recover really fast. But if you have never trained core before, or if you don't train core as often, you might be sore tomorrow. So I would advise to begin with 3 to 4 times per week and then build your way up to do this routine on a daily basis. But without further ado, let's begin on our hands and knees, table tuck position. I'm going to begin warming up a little bit on our entire spine. We're gonna basically feel the posterior and anterior pelvic tilt of our spine. So let's find a neutral position or whatever feels neutral to your body right now. Then take a deep inhale and arch your spine, your lumbar and your thoracic. Look up or look forward. And then exhale, round your spine and posteriorly tilt as much as you can. For some people, it will be a lot, like me. For others, it won't be as much. Then inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch, really putting attention on the lower region of your core and your lumbar spine. Exhale, round. Last one, inhale. Exhale, round. Keep exhaling as you send the hips back into child's pose. Keep your knees together. This will facilitate more roundiness on the lumbar spine. And work your hands forward, trying to create length in your entire spine, and then relax your forehead and breathe. You can find some movement if your body feels like it, or you can just relax into the position. On the next inhale, come all the way up. Turn your hands, get into a squat position. Now the squat, if you don't have the ability to be in a squat position, you can put something to elevate your heels. But what I would recommend, especially for anterior pelvic tilt, is grabbing a pole or a partner or anything that allows you to pull yourself forward. You don't want to be actively engaging in this position because that's going to activate your hip flexors. It's going to make them tighter, and we want to avoid that. So you want to be resting. We're looking for that putting the tailbone under and basically getting into that posterior pelvic tilt. So we're gonna be in this squat, and we're gonna be doing pulses forward. You can play around with your 2 fists and a thumb and going forward, and if you can touch, that's okay. And then basically reducing the load until basically you can get your head to the floor. Now, what I don't wanna see is a demonstration if you lean forward and you raise your hips because you are trying to get to a position that you cannot access yet. We don't want that. That also activates your hip flexors and your entire legs. We wanna be passively in that position and finding a height that you can go without, and you don't have to really touch your forehead, without actually lifting your butt. So you wanna keep in a resting squat position while you're leaning forward and while you're getting that lumbar flexion position. So let's go for 15 to 20 pulses of those. Then we rest when I repeat that for 2 times. So find a comfortable position that you can go into. Let's take a deep inhale. Exhale, go forward for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moving with your breath. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, go up. Now do side to side in your squat, or you can stay still. You can place your hands in between your knees, raise your chest up. But again, trying to go inwards, looking for that spinal flexion. Catch your breathing one more time.
I was so stuck.
You're so stuck in there?
Here.
As far as you can go? Well, if you do this routine daily, you might be able to get deeper. I try to do this exercise daily, guys, and it really has helped me to get deeper into my squat, even though I don't have a posterior anterior pelvic tilt, but it really helps you if you want to really get deeper into your ass to grass or whatever the heck squat. Place your hands one more time. Let's go for 20 this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 5 more, 16, almost there, 17, 18, 19, 20. Try to stay low, walk your hands forward, try to send the hips back as you open more into the hips and into the lumbar spine, just a tiny bit, and then relax. Now we're gonna get, you got a question?
I was gonna say that what I found weird is that I'm pulling more from my core
Okay.
than from the neck, because you can find yourself
Trying to cheat and get in your neck.
trying to reach
Okay, yeah, exactly. Especially we're so used to getting to this position, and what he's saying is that you're using the neck to go forward instead of actually using your core and flexing from the lumbar spine. So try to keep your chin tucked in and only move from your core. Do you feel it on your core?
Yeah.
That's the point. Right. So you should feel it on your core. We're gonna stay in this squat position, and we're gonna inhale here, and then we're gonna exhale, and we're gonna round into a forward fold, and then keep exhaling as you go up, basically a negative Jefferson curl, warming up into the entire spine. Then inhale, lower down into your squat. Let's go for 5 of those. So squat, exhale, really keeping that posterior pelvic tilt as much as possible throughout the entire practice by activating your core and your glutes. Lower down, exhale, posterior tilt as much as possible, engage the lower abs especially. 2 more, lower down, exhale, inhale, lower down, exhale. And that's it for the warm-up. Are you ready now? Let's lower into, actually, before we're gonna begin in plank. So we're gonna be doing a combination of basically strengthening our core while then resting in a stretching position, stretching our hip flexors and our lumbar spine. So we're gonna begin in plank position. Just follow me, and then thank me later for the pain. So let's get into plank pose. You're just holding it here. Try to posteriorly tilt as much as possible. Lower your hips down, really engaging your glutes and your lower abdominals as much as possible. Hold it here. I'm gonna hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees down. Bring your hands here. Now bring the left foot to the outside of your legs. Raise your right leg up. Let's go little pulses forward, opening up into the right hip flexor. What I want you to do is posteriorly tilt before you do the pulses. So posteriorly tilt as much as you can, and then go forward as far as you can go without anteriorly tilting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lower the right knee down. Raise yourself up. Now we're gonna do it a little bit more specific. We're gonna posteriorly tilt as much as possible, then go forward. Try not to lose a posterior pelvic tilt, even if you see yourself and you might be in anterior or you might be in neutral, but you are aiming for that posterior pelvic tilt. Because if you have excessive anterior pelvic tilt, if you posterior tilt, you might be in a neutral position, ideally, or you might even look like anterior pelvic tilt. But it's the action what truly matters. Posterior tilt, drive your hips forward as far as you can go without getting into an arch position, and go back. Let's go for 10 of those. Posteriorly, forward, 2, keep the posterior, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm suffering there. I don't have anterior pelvic tilt. And 10, hold here. Hold, hold, hold. Bring your chest up. Maybe send the chest forward. Really feel it. As long as you feel it on your hip flexors, you're good to go. Hold it there. Lower your forearms down. And back to plank. Hold it for 10 seconds. Set it up. Protract your scapula. Depress your shoulders as well. And engage your core. Hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees, bring your hands up, bring the right foot to the outside of your hands, raise the left knee, posteriorly to your pelvis, go forward for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the left knee down, untuck your toes, rise all the way up, posteriorly to your pelvis, go forward for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the posterior pelvic tilt. Now lower down into a lizard lunge. Let's hold it here for as much as you can. If you cannot lower your forearms, you can be on your palms. You just rest here for a tiny bit, trying to isometrically or passively open the left hip flexor. I feel it like crazy, and I cannot imagine someone that has anterior pelvic tilt how that must feel.
That's why I'm quiet.
Okay, good to know. Keep your hands on the floor. Bring the right foot back. Bring the left foot forward to balance it out with a passive stretch. Posterior to your pelvis. Lower down either into your arms or into your forearms. Pedal blocks will come handy in here. Just be comfortable in the position. Try not to twist, but always remain with your hips facing forward. And break. How did that feel? Good?
Yeah, I'm ready to do scorpion now.
Now, okay, perfect. Now get into your knees, and I just gonna do this because I feel like doing it. Just punch your hip flexors a little bit because they feel like I just open them a little bit more than usual. Maybe get into your quads. And that's it, break is over. Now let's keep killing our core. We're gonna be doing a circuit of reverse crunches, then glute bridges, and then we're gonna actively rest in camel pose to open the hip flexors without involving the lumbar spine. So just follow us. I'm gonna begin with reverse crunches. The first one is You bring your knees tuck in, and you're gonna press the hips up as high as you possibly can, really engaging the lower abdominals. This and the tuck position will eliminate, if you see people doing leg raises a lot, there is a lot of hip flexor strength. We wanna avoid that by taking the hip flexors out of the equation and really focusing on getting sore tomorrow in the lower abs. Ready for this? We're gonna go for 10 of those. So place your hands right here to assist yourself and to be able to push. If you want an extra challenge, you can be here, but nothing wrong with this as long as you're not using your arms to bring yourself up completely. So activate your core, posteriorly tilt, bring it up for 10, 9, 8, exhale every time you go up, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Now drop your hips down to the ground. Measure by putting your index finger into your heels. Drop the head. I'm gonna go for glute bridges with a very slow and controlled tempo to really feel the glutes and the hamstrings activated. Before you raise, I want you to posteriorly tilt your pelvis and then raise as far as you can go. Engage your glutes, your hamstrings, hold for like 2, 1, lower down, keeping the posterior pelvic tilt as much as you can. Bring it up for 2, hold it for 1, 2, bring it down, bring it up for 3, 1, 2, down, 4, 1, 2, down, 5, 1, 2, down, up, 1, 2, down, 7, 1, 2, 3 more, lower down, up, hold it for 1, 2, lower down, reset, posteriorly tilt, bring it up, 1, 2, lower down, posteriorly tilt, bring it up, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and break. Not so much of a break. We're getting to camel pose now. Be in your knees. A couple modifications here, but ideally we don't want to get into a full camel position because this will put a lot of pressure on the lumbar spine. So what I want you to do is camel pose, but posterior to your pelvis as much as possible. Really engage the core and your glutes, and just place your palms in the lumbar spine and really focus on driving the hips forward as you send your hips, your chest or your back, and as you open your chest. We're not trying to get into a deep back bend right here. We're just trying to open into the hip flexors by creating hip extension. You got all that? Yep. Posteriorly tilt, open. There you go. Oh, that's much better than when I met you. Activate your glutes and drive the hips forward and just hold into a comfortable position, or a position that you can hold for 30 seconds. Breathing here, you can drop your head. Or if you don't have anterior pelvic tilt, I mean, you shouldn't be doing this, but if you don't have anterior pelvic tilt, you can get into a regular camel pose. And break. I'm gonna go one more round of those. Maybe catch your breathing, maybe pause the video if you need to. I think we are tired because of Miami weather, not because of the routine. Not because of the routine. This is easy. So dehydrated, that's true. Lower down. We're gonna go for 12 this time of each. So get ready for this mentally and physically. Climb your hands, bring your knees tuck in, and bring it up for 1. As high as you can go. And 2, 3, 4, 5. Really putting the tension on the lumbar, on the lower abs. 7, 8, 9, 10. Get 2 more. 9 and 10. Lower the hips, heels down. Measure with your hands and your heels. Posterior to your pelvis and bring it up for 1. Hold it for 1, 2. Lower down, up. 1, 2. Lower down, up. 1, 2. Lower down, up. 1, 2. Lower down, up for 1, 2. That's 5. Let's go for 6. 1, 2. Down, up. 1, 2. Down, up. 1, 2. Down, up. 1, 2. 10. 1, 2, and the promise to go 2 more. Let's go for 11. 1, 2, lower down, 12. 1, 2, hold it, 3, 4, and 5. Release down. You can do another set of camel if you feel like it, but now we're gonna keep going, killing our core a little bit more. So, and also comment down below, do you think that you have more weakness on your core, or do you have more tightness on your hip flexors? What's your answer?
Ooh, combination of both.
Combination of both.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe comment a percentage of what do you think, which one is affecting more your anterior pelvic tilt. All right, negative hollow body hold, your favorite. So this one is a move that we were testing out. It's basically a hollow body hold, but keeping your heels down. You don't need to raise it up. And we're gonna be doing a negative portion, really flexing from our entire spine, not even our lumbar, our entire spine, getting as low as we can go, and then assisting ourselves up, and then repeating the motion. If you have the strength, it looks easy. If you have the strength, and you might have the strength if you don't have anterior pelvic tilt, which you shouldn't be doing this routine anyways, but you might have anterior pelvic tilt. It might not be as severe, and this may reveal that your hip flexors are tight, but your core is not as weak if you're able to do this motion, which for me is like it's a piece of cake. It's because my pelvis is already in posterior pelvic tilt, so it's easy for me. If he tries to do it, give it a shot. Right there, and bring it up. I get stuck. Okay, I need help. So if that's you, comment down below and let us know if this exercise is too easy or way too hard. But if you cannot come up, just work on the negative portion and assist yourself up. We're gonna go for 10 of those, and then we're gonna be holding the hollow body position at the bottom. Now the hollow body position, you can hold it here, but it's not necessary in this case, because what we are trying to do is really posteriorly tilt and really engaging the glutes, and you don't need to really get overhead to get that. And if you get overhead and you get into anterior, like you have a gap in your lumbar spine, please don't. The idea of this exercise is to keep that posterior pelvic tilt. All clear, fine and dandy, let's get it. So get your heels on the mat, the top of the mat, engage your core, round posterior tilt, your glutes should be engaged, lower down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, assist yourself up, lower down for 5, exhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1, inhale up, exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, inhale up, 2 more, exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, inhale up, exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold the whole body hold, raise your heels off the ground, make sure your lumbar is in touch with the ground. If you need to rest, pause, please do it. Your core might be fried by now. Hold it for 5, 4, you can get into tuck position, perfect, 3, 2, 1, get a little break, relax, catch your breathing, we're almost at the end of the practice. Feel free to repeat any of the blocks or the sequences that we have just done. If you just want to make it 3 times per week and you want this routine a little bit more intense, we're just doing a single round or 2 rounds of each, just because it's a daily routine and you don't want to be frying yourself every single day. Next one is going to be a candlestick, shoulder stand, and halasana. Candlestick is basically getting into a shoulder stand dynamically with your legs completely straight. This will activate your glutes and create that hip extension. Try to not use your lumbar spine that much, but actually use your glutes. How you do that is posteriorly tilt the entire time and raise up. And here you create hip extension, not lumbar extension. So trying to keep that posterior pelvic tilt, driving the heels up and extending through the hips. I'll go for 10 of those, and then we're gonna hold at the top. So posterior tilt first. Sure, your lumbar spine is in contact with the ground. You're activating your I keep saying lumbar, your lower abs, and then bring it up. As far as you can go, you can use your hands for assistance. Lower down, that's 1, let's go for 9 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost there, 8, 9, 10. Put your hands on your lumbar spine, assist yourself to go up, fully hip extension, engage your glutes, keep the posterior pelvic tilt, do not lose the activation on your core, look at your belt bottom, and focus for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the legs back towards the room, round the lumbar spine, round the entire spine. Option to grab your hands and open through the chest, but if you're working on the lumbar, you may be wanting to assist yourself and find some movement, find the tight spots. It could be your lumbar spine, it could also be your QL, which some rotations might also help open it up. And if you feel comfortable in this position, you can lower your knees down. You can use some blocks to put your knees, or you can just relax into the stretch. Stay in this position. We're going to be there for like 30 seconds. And as you can see, this gets basically his entire spine in a flex position. As you can see, he got almost a very flat back. He doesn't have that lumbar flexion that basically you see me having. And that is because I have a stronger abs and I have a weaker lumbar spine than he actually does. I didn't say to come up, but you guys can come off already. That's good right now. We're gonna be doing a final stretch that involves our quads and our hip flexors, and then we're done with the practice. We're gonna go towards the wall. You can do this without the wall. Maybe let's adjust these mats. But the wall is gonna really present an assistance, especially if you suffer from tight quads. The wall is really gonna help you. So we're gonna placing the knee. The closer the knee is to the wall, the harder this exercise is going to be. Your quad performs a knee extension. So the more flexed that your knee is, the more stretch you're gonna get in your quads. So basically, if I'm right here, I'm getting a full quadriceps stretch, but for most people, they won't be able to get into this position. So play around with it. And what I want you to do is, once you find the position, posteriorly to your pelvis, so you involve the stretching of the hip flexors, and then send the hips now back instead of forward, and you're gonna feel it mostly on your quads. You can place your hands in the wall for assistance. If you don't feel it and you're just like me, just get the knee closer and go back. And if you still don't feel it on your quad for some reason, you can grab the right hand, we're on the right side right now, and you can drive the hip forward to create more knee flexion. So find the position that works for you. We're gonna hold it for about 30 seconds on each side. You can do little pulses forward, make sure you keep that posterior pelvic tilt. Make sure you keep driving the hips back, really opening into the quads. This is one of those stretches that everyone feels it, including myself. Do you feel it? That's why you're quiet today, Norna? Breathe, breathe, keep your chest tall, and relax. Place both hands in the mat, on the floor. Bring the other knee to the same distance of the wall that the other one was. Bring the right foot forward, and send the hips back. Raise yourself up. Hips are square, try not to twist. Posterior to your pelvis, send the hips back, and breathe. So maybe this routine also is aside from also helping you on the anterior pelvic tilt, it may also help you revealing those weaknesses, because as I said, you might be tighter on your hip flexors than you are on your quads, or maybe the other way around, and all the things that we mentioned, the weaknesses and the stretches, the strengthening, and will affect your anterior pelvic tilt. So knowing which one you need to pay the more attention will truly allow you to have a better practice for that specific goal. You don't want to be stretching your quads if your quads are way too loose. So comment down below, do you have more tight quads, more tight hip flexors, more tight lumbar spine? Do you don't have any at all? Do you have a weak core, or do you have weak glutes, or do you have all of them? You're still quiet.
You done?
I'm done. You guys can get out of the position. They probably got out of the position already, big time ago. Thank you for suffering with me. Thank you for suffering with them. Please give a thanks to Yasir for suffering with you guys. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment down below what else you want to see on this channel. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And that's it. Give this routine a try. 3 times per week should be more than enough. On a daily basis would be really recommended if you have a lot of anterior pelvic tilt. And let us know down below if it helps, if it doesn't, and how it helps you. With that being said, I'll see you next week. Much love.